That's Nick.
And that's Joseph. And today we're here to talk about True to the Game 2, directed by Jamal Hill, which is available November 6, 2020, courtesy of Faith Media Distribution. I believe that we were immediately interested in this because of the very eclectic cast.
Yeah, Tamar, Braxton, Vivica Fox,
Faith Evans.
Faith Evans is in it.
Mm-hmm.
Prison Bay, Jeremy Meeks, among others.
Andra Fuller, Darius McCrary.
Darius McCrary's in it.
Lil Mama.
Lil Mama's in it.
Yeah, it's too good to pass up, kind of.
I was amused.
Well, neither of us have seen the first film.
No.
And let me preface this: it's also based on actual
events,
novels.
Oh.
Written by Terry Woods, who's she wrote the first. I think the first book was published in 1994. And she's started her own publishing company. So she actually did. There's a book form of True to the Game 2 and True to the Game 3. Just so you know.
Well, I can see True to the Game 3 happening.
Based on.
Because I have questions.
Yes.
Where'd the drugs go? That's what I want to know.
In this film, the Preston Whitmore II directed the first film, and he just serves as the adapting the screenplay for this. From what I understand, I haven't read the books, but they take a lot of liberties, it sounds like, because the second book was supposed to be, the parenthetical was Gena's story.
Interesting. Well, I have a million notes, so I just need to tell the story. So you're going to help me.
Sure.
All right. Gena, played by
Erica Peeples,
who's a lovely lady. She is a journalist.
She has reinvented herself as a journalist
in New York.
A year after when the last film ended.
Right. So in the previous film, there's a gentleman named Quadir, and Gena was in a relationship with Quadir. Quadir was killed in the first film. Okay. This film opens with a robbery. So we see like a bakery truck driving and several women rob the truck. And we find out that the truck was filled with drugs. The man who the drugs belong to, Jerrell, who's played by
Andra Fuller,
sexy thug
of Black Jesus.
He used to be in cahoots with Quadir.
Yes.
Like business partners in whatever nefarious things they were involved in. And in the first film, Jerrell killed Quadir. So there's that. Obviously, Jerrell wants his drugs because he needs his money. The people who robbed the truck and Jerrell are Vivica Fox.
As playing Shoog.
Playing Shoog. And a woman who looks like 2004 Sierra.
Her name is Iyana Halley.
And her character's name is Bria. Spelled like the cheese?
Bria.
Oh, okay.
I just make a lot of cheese jokes watching.
Yeah. There's a lot going on. Okay. So Gena gets an opportunity. Well, first of all, her boss tells her basically like, you work too much. So you have to take a mandatory 2-week vacation.
This very crunchy white man.
In a really... I found it entertaining scene, but it's not good.
It's not good. He's like, what time did you leave here last night? She's like, I don't know, 9. He's like, don't you want to...
And then he goes, you know, and this is the white guy, he's like, back in my DJ days, I used to tell people, like, you don't have to go home, but you got to get the hell up out of here. That was so corny.
It's bad.
So Gena has like a 2-week sabbatical, and during that time, she's given the opportunity to go to LA.
She goes home and checks her email, and somebody's like, I have a writing opportunity you might like.
So she gets an opportunity to go to LA to write a big article about some like powerful rich man who basically like helped legalize cannabis. Okay, so she makes her way to LA. Jerrell's henchman, played by Jeremy Meeks, Saleem, is told to basically like find the people who were involved in the robbery. So the man who was driving the truck with the drugs in it, they take him and basically rough him up a little to say like, you need to tell us everything you know and get us back our drugs. And he tells them, well, I did recognize one of the ladies, 2004 Sierra, and one of them whispered to me, this is for Quadir. So Jerrell's like, well, that's not possible because I killed that fool. All right. So Prison Bay's off trying to find something. He ends up killing someone and like burning up their body. We don't know who it is.
And just like in a parking lot.
In a parking lot next to like up an apartment complex.
In Philadelphia.
Jerrell wants to find Gena because she has Quadir's money. Mm-hmm. And Jerrell feels like since they were partners, he's owed that money, which seems real jacked up. But Jerrell goes to California to find her, but Gena doesn't know what Jerrell looks like. Mm-hmm. So he finds his way into her presence and like basically hits on her and goes on several dates with her successfully, thinking that he's ultimately going to get her money. Mm-hmm. The film culminates with him confronting her like in her home, like on a date.
In her Airbnb.
In her Airbnb.
In Malibu.
In Malibu, oceanfront. Whoops her ass because she's saying, "Oh, I have to leave," which we'll explain later. Okay. But so he beats her up. He's about to like kill her when guess who walks in? Quadir. So Quadir's not dead. Quadir's played by the man from Scandal.
Columbus Short.
Columbus Short. So of course when Jerrell sees Quadir...
He's in Scandal?
He's on Scandal?
Isn't it Grey's Anatomy?
Okay, I'm like 90% sure he's in Scandal.
Huh. I guess I never watched
But I could be wrong. I never watched Grey's
Anatomy. Actually, that sounds right. He's one of Olivia's little henchmen, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
They get into a battle. Quadir kills Jerrell. The end. All right. Did you enjoy this film? We watched it separately.
Yeah. Yes. It's kind of campy. The original novels are supposed to be what's called urban fiction, aka street lit, which is a type of narrative that you can trace back to Iceberg Slim.
Okay, I'm into it.
And throughout hip hop, and it's kind of like black film noir almost, and you can see the potential there for this to have been good, but a lot of times it feels very similar to something like Tommy Wiseau's The Room. And it's in the moments, those small filler moments where it's like, that's not how these things work. Which makes it seem really silly, like how she gets this freelance writing opportunity, or that scene where she's in that restaurant in LA ordering food, and she's like, "Oh, it's so it doesn't feel smooth. It feels."
It definitely doesn't feel smooth. I'm just gonna start going down my list. First of all,
it also had a lot of plot holes.
Yes. When Vivica and Bria rob the bakery truck, they have like high fashion outfits on. It looks like something Lady Gaga would wear to like the grocery store.
Well, I wrote down it looks like the what those killers use in Vox Lux with Natalie Portman.
Oh, sure. I didn't know this, but Waka Flocka's in it.
Mm-hmm. He plays Reds.
And I thought that was him, and they kill him right away. Mm-hmm. When we're first introduced to Gena, she's in her beautiful apartment in New York.
She just wakes up
naked and looks out the window. Full makeup. Her wig is not crooked. Her eyelashes, her one big ass strip of like whatever those are, 310s are like on. I thought that was really funny.
I kept thinking she looks like Zoe Saldana in a Regina Hall wig.
Yes. Oh, well, I'll talk about that. So I think her specifically and the woman who plays Bria, I think they're good casting choices because they have very familiar looks.
Yeah.
So it's almost like you're getting like a Regina Hall or a Sierra for probably like bargain prices. Oh, God. So I think that's pretty smart.
So you're calling them poor man Sierra?
No, I mean, I liked them. I liked her.
Sure.
She looks like very familiar to me. Mm-hmm. So I like that.
I think the first film was a big break for her. And then she also starred in Triggered, which was released on BET in October. And that's technically Jeremy Meeks' debut credit.
Debut. Mm-hmm. I laughed for all of the film because when the truck is first robbed of the drugs, we see Vivica, Shoog, and Bria like doing something with the drugs, and Bria is she's just an airhead who doesn't know what she's doing. They're scanning the drugs.
They're like, I don't know if they're trying to find if there's like devices in it. I don't know what they're doing. But
okay, I don't know what they're doing either.
They're like chit-chatting over.
They're chit-chatting over these drugs, and Bria looks lost, and then Bria says, "What am I supposed to do with these drugs?" And and Shoog, I don't know if Shoog said this, but I thought I heard...
She didn't say that.
You said she didn't. I thought she did. I thought Shoog said, "You gonna eat these drugs, bitch." And I laughed for the entire film, thinking that she said that. So I think this movie was worth it just for that. Moving on to Prison Bae. Mm-hmm. He has an interesting screen presence.
I mean, he obviously...
Because I wrote down, he's fine if you don't look at him for too long. Because in some lights, he looks very gaunt.
Well, he's very thin. But
it's a beautiful face.
Yeah, he's very beautiful. But vaping, every scene, even at a funeral.
Well, that's another note. I said, is this movie sponsored by Juul?
Yeah.
Because, like, just every scene, he's vaping.
I got the sense that made him comfortable. Because he's believable in that role.
He's not as stiff as I would have thought he'd be.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, some of the names.
Oh, God.
So, Shoog and Bria already, but Shoog and Bria and Gena are all related.
Yeah, they're Bria is cousins to Gena, and
some kind of way.
I think they because they're auntie. I don't know.
But the grandma's name is Gah Git.
Yeah, I had
Gah. Next word Git.
I had such trouble with that in Quadir because there's no subtitles, and I was like, wait, what are they saying? Gah Git. And she's played by Starletta DuPois, who's a character actress who's been around for...
Who was lovely. Mm-hmm. There are other names, like Reds. Well, even like Meeks named Saleem, and there's someone named Dalvin, and...
Lil Mama is Alia, so that's... Oh, and then...
her name's Alia?
And Tamar.
Wow, Little Mama.
And Tamar is Ariana. It's funny that, because Lil Mama is Jeremy Meeks' girlfriend, and they look very similar.
Little Mama looks like Jeremy Meeks in drag.
Yeah.
In some scenes.
It's interesting.
And I think she's, whatever her real name is, I think she's a beautiful lady.
Yeah, she is beautiful.
But yeah, the lighting in this film is, which I'll get to, doesn't do anyone justice.
The lighting's not her friend in this film.
Although Tamar looks good, and she's only in like 2 scenes for like 20 seconds total.
Which is fine.
I thought she looks fine. I like the music.
Mostly. Whatever they're playing, whatever track that is in the volleyball scene, I hated that.
It sounded like a kid singing. But for like the production value is okay. I think the film looks fine. There are some continuity issues.
I think
with
it's
the lighting,
the editing,
and the editing
problem.
But I think it looks nice. I did think the music was fine.
Sure. It's just that we never get a break from it. It's one of those films that. It's afraid that we'll be bored. So it's like, we gotta have a track playing over this right now. Over these montages that are really truncated, such as her driving to...
Oh, we'll get to that. So, Jerrell calls his brother who's in prison.
Yeah, that's...
So we see the brother, in his orange jumpsuit on the phone. And it's like 3 cuts. Mm-hmm. And in those 3 cuts, the brother is just from one cut to the next is sweating profusely. The
sweating becomes profuse, and he's got a cigarette in his ear, and it's like, that's gonna taste like you.
I actually think this film would make a great how did this get made film.
For that podcast?
Well, maybe not, because they probably are afraid to talk about black people.
Probably.
But yeah, I mean, this film is enjoyable, but on that level. Because I was cackling throughout this movie.
Well, Steve McQueen recently said we have to have crap black films as well.
And I enjoyed it. I thought it definitely has an audience. And,
for sure.
And it has a style, because I could also see watching this film in certain environments, in the background. True to the Game 2 is on it, where I get my hair cut, and it's just something that you can only catch 25 minutes of, but that 25 minutes is giving you something to enjoy.
It feels like an adult black soap opera.
Yeah. I wrote down that Jerrell's beard has its own assistant.
It does.
That beard, halfway through the film, it changes, it's buzzed down. So I don't know what was happening in the first half of the film. When he's in Philadelphia, mm-hmm. his beard is very thick, very filled in, with topics and mm-hmm. paint and all the things. And then when he gets to LA, it's buzzed down to what looks realistic. I thought that was funny. When Gena goes to interview about the journalist position in LA, the woman who interviews her, first of all, is gorgeous. Mm-hmm. I think she looks like Gabrielle Union. I thought it was kind of cool that actor, the character, is speaking Spanish on the phone. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was a nice touch. But that lady's acting was cock-a-doodle.
She's a little dead behind the eyes,
yeah. Good thing she's pretty.
You got the sense that it was like, she's like, yeah, I got my lines.
When her character is at Gah Git's house, and Gah Git had cooked some baked chicken and some broccoli or whatever, the first thing Vivica does when she sits down to eat is says, like, let me grab my hot sauce out of my bag. Which I thought was so weird, because why wouldn't you think your auntie has hot sauce?
I know, why would you ask her?
Like, why wouldn't you think your auntie would know how to season her food properly?
I think my problem with like both Gah Git and Shoog is that they're very stereotyped. Because then the next scene with Vivica is like her eating chicken wings, watching tennis, I guess. And Gah Git is this woman who doesn't believe in cell phones because they'll cause brain cancer.
Bria's hair is, well, I think Bria's face looks like Sierra's original face, but also she has the same kind of wig that Sierra was wearing back in 2004 with those really brassy highlights.
Yeah.
Which there's a scene where we see Bria wearing like a Calvin Klein sports bra that's like this metallic silver next to that super brassy orange hair.
And her lips are very shiny.
Oh, that was, whoever styled that made a mistake. Okay, the scene where Gena drives to LA is literally like, boom, boom, pow, I'm in LA. Like,
like Hollywood.
Yeah, like she's driving, it's nighttime, she stops at a gas station, then she's at a hotel, and then she's like, 101 freeway, Hollywood. And that's it.
Yeah.
It's like 4 seconds.
Yeah, it's...
That was efficient.
And then the same thing when Jerrell gets her address from the building soup in New York, and then it's just like, oh, he's on a plane and he's landed. Like,
yes.
whoa.
So that's my next note. I think that what makes this film seem a little corny or cheap or whatever is crunchy is its sort of interpretation of space and time. Because even the lighting from one shot to the next looks like, oh, it was 10 o'clock and now it's 6 o'clock and then it's 2 o'clock, right?
Yeah. Well, the scene where Jerrell beats up the white man that's trying to court
Gena,
who's, how long is she in LA? The scene, I
mean, he was attractive, so it usually doesn't take very long.
What's it called? The reverse shot of them is like night and day.
Yeah, very so awkward. So we hear Faith Evans singing, and her voice is very recognizable. So I knew it was Faith Evans before we see Faith Evans, but when I recognized it was her voice, I said, who hired Faith Evans? And then literally the character in the film tells the other person, who hired Faith Evans?
I didn't authorize that.
Like, what is she doing in this movie?
Also, the funeral, this is supposedly a year after the first film, and he's just having a funeral that his woman is not attending, who hired Faith Evans to sing. It is, and then whose body is in there? Because the reveal...
Because Quadir's not dead, yeah. I wrote down also, there are a lot of very attractive men in this movie. Like, really all of the men. So... Yeah,
there's really nobody that doesn't look good in the movie. I thought Vivica looked good.
Yeah, everyone looks great. The entrepreneur who Gena goes to visit in LA, the plot twist... Well, so first of all, when she shows up, when she introduces herself to him, Gena is so stiff.
She's like, I admire all your accomplishments.
I admire all of your accomplishments. And she just kind of like off into the air. But she thinks she's just interviewing this rich man. But he knows her because he and Quadir were very good friends. That wasn't explained. I haven't seen the first film, so I don't know if that's narrative in the first film.
Well, we get flashbacks of him with Columbus Short.
Yeah.
So, but then it doesn't make sense. Did that the outlet that hired her, were they in on it? It just because she gets there and ostensibly she's not going to be writing an article. He's like, ask me what you want to ask me about Quadir.
And she's like, what?
So what is she getting paid for?
Well, because he sent all that information to her, so she can still write an article.
But is one really necessary? It's just like this ruse to get her there?
The man who was driving the bakery truck that was robbed, his name is Titus. That man, he's in the film quite a bit.
I thought he looked like Anthony Anderson.
What, like an emaciated? Well, Anthony Anderson's kind of getting emaciated, but
yeah,
that man looks so mean and crispy. He looks so mean and crispy in every
There's a scene where these cops, one of whom is Darius McCrary, are like trying to hustle him.
He looks so mad, which made me laugh. So Bria, her sort of character, like quirk or like what defines this character is that she's obsessed with food.
Which is so dumb.
So stupid. And the man who ends up like setting her boyfriend who ends up setting her up to like Jerrell's people, he convinces her like it's like there's gonna be food at the party. But that whole plotline I thought was...
Well, at first like he calls her and he said it's gonna be at his friend's and she's concerned if there's gonna be food there and wants popcorn shrimp. And then they're at a club and she's
like a warehouse party.
A warehouse party and she's calling Vivica Fox saying, all they have here is some dry chicken, and he's acting weird. Like there's no way they had any kind of chicken.
I thought it's stupid, but I was amused.
Sure.
Little Mama, I actually forgot, why does Jeremy Meeks' character want to like kill Little
It's
Mama?
very unexplained, but when she's giving him a massage and he's telling her about the bitches that robbed Jerrell, it clicks in her head, she knows who it is. And then the scene where he puts the gun to her head, he says to her, like, you knew and didn't tell me.
The reason I brought that scene up is because he's going to kill her, and she's like, he says, I'm going to kill you. And Little Mama says, oh, you going to kill me, but you couldn't kill this pussy.
And then he's like, he rises to the challenge and tries to do that, and then she shoots him. And then he's like, you better hope I'm dead. It's like, well... She just leaves him bleeding out.
At the end, when Jerrell confronts Gena and he's whooping her ass, the last strike he gets on her is he hits her with a vase. But the shot and the way he hits her, I thought was very funny. Because he just like...
It's pretty...
It's pretty violent.
The violence against women in this was not what I was expecting.
My last note is when... Jerrell and Quadir fighting, Jerrell says, now I gotta kill you again.
Oh, you like that line.
The writing's corny, but I think it's funny.
I think it could have been a lot more polished and this would have been a decent...
Let me tell you something. I would absolutely watch True to the Game 3.
Well, now you gotta go back and watch the first one.
I don't have to do anything, but...
Oh, you know who's in the first one? Nelson, that actor that died from... He's in True Blood. I'm forgetting his name. Nelson... Oh, shit. Anyway.
I would absolutely watch True to the Game 3. I did have fun watching this film this morning. Also, today is November 7th. Mm-hmm. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Today's the day we found out that Joe Biden is president-elect.
Oh, we've staved off fascism for 4 years.
So that's good news. Mm-hmm. But anyway, what would you give this film?
I also want to say that Andra Fuller... I kept expecting and kind of wanting Black Jesus to show up to tell
him what Pops would and would not want him to do.
I wanted that. But I would give it 1.5 out of 5. It was entertaining, but it's not a good film. It's like, what would you give The Room?
This film is better than The Room.
It is better than The Room, but I'm saying like, as film quality, like...
I mean, I would give The Room like a 0, but then for entertainment purposes, like a 4.
Oh, sure.
This film I would give... like quality of the film, like a 2.
Okay.
But I enjoyed it more, so I would give it like 2.5.
Okay. Sure.
But there's something for everyone.
That's true. I mean, I feel like if you like watching films that are terrible but weren't intended to be, that's what camp is.
Yeah, it can be, but I think it's more irreverent than...
Sure.
It took liberties like...
Mm-hmm, sure does.
We're going to take big jumps, big leaps all over the place.
I enjoyed it.
I'm into it. That's kind of my work style, actually.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, bye.
Bye.